Well, yeah. I mean, I've been an artist all my life, um, but you're an artist, and then you've got to do whatever you got to do to live, which is finding ways to make enough money and play into the system, for lack of a better term, in order to survive, and then hopefully you can keep your art alive while you're doing those other things. And some people do, and some people don't. I've managed to, um, you know, continue being a painter and an artist, um, and also a musician and a playwright, director. I wrote poetry. I have my own publishing company of poems and wrote books and things like that. So I mean, I've kept my art alive, and then been a teacher for all these years. But it's never easy, and there's that sort of negative connotation when you say business and art in the same sentence. And so I always, from the punk rock days of when I started playing music, you never wanted to sell out. You never wanted to be disingenuous to your cause or the aesthetic of whatever you're trying to do, which at the time was, DIY. It said it's most hardcore. You don't play your instruments? Okay, well, that's not a reason not to play in a band. You'll learn enough to get by and make a lot of noise and have a lot of fun, and it'll work out. Which brings me to, okay, I'm turning 50 years old, right? You fast forward from the punk rock days. You don't lose your sensibilities because you get older. In fact, you kind of get more rooted in what they're all about. So, I leave teaching for a while, and I start searching and making some different decisions about, being a single dad and raising my two daughters and stuff like that as they're getting older, and say, hey, the dream's not dead. I still want to do what I always wanted to do, which is be an artist and make a go at it, and not have to do other things besides my art. Be true to myself. So, you're not getting any younger, and you decide to go for it. At least I did. So anyway, that brings me to Utopian Cow. Living in Holland, you had to declare yourself an entrepreneur, a business entity. So I became Utopian Cow through a series of dreams. The name came to me, and started writing a book about education. It wasn't very exciting to me, but doing my art has always been exciting. So when I had some downtime, I made clothes, silk screens. And then I started hand painting jackets. And the hand painted jackets were the most exciting thing. People liked them the best, and they were fun. They were things that I used to do back in the 70s and 80s. And I saw myself kind of doing it full circle. As they got more popular and I started getting better at doing them, there seemed to be somewhat of a demand saying, hey, can you do this, this, and this? Can you do me a portrait of this person or that person? Can you make me a portrait of my dog? Can you do a design? Yeah, I can do all that. I can paint anything you want. So started painting on denim and leather. They became more interesting when I got away from just doing celebrity portraits and got into doing sort of my own design, my own artistic sensibilities. The DIY is still very much entrenched in doing this whole project, and so is street art. I love guerrilla art and street artists, man. They're just another generation, but kind of along the same lines as punk rock. Out there in the streets doing your thing, expressing yourself. If it's illegal, so what? You do it, you get caught, so what? You keep doing it, you keep getting caught, you keep doing it. It doesn't dissuade you from your art and the evolution of being true to yourself and doing what you want to do. And keeping that, and then sort of acquiring some sensibilities and business savvy, some street artists have done amazing things. Banksy obviously is off the hook when it comes to business, and some people view him as a sellout. Whatever, there's a lot more street artists out there doing what he's doing, and kind of doing it even better than what he's doing, who are virtually unknown. Um, so all that said and done, you need a network. You can't just do this in a vacuum. You don't just do your art and then hope it sells and retain anonymity. Yeah, that's great to a certain extent, but if this is truly what you want to do and be self-sufficient, then you don't want to rely on anybody, to give you anything. So you rely on yourself, but you can't just, maintain a barrier between yourself and the world. You got to be communicating, networking, especially with other artists, but then also with a clientele that appreciates what you're doing. And if you can make a living at something that you love and you enjoy doing it and people enjoy your work, then it's the best of all worlds, and that's what it's all about, is having the best of all worlds, and everybody kind of joins you in your passion, in what you love to do, making clothes is really cool because, people get to wear your art and they get to tell the story behind it, not that there's a long saga, but it's like, hey, this guy makes these jackets. It's not made by the Gap or, some off-the-rack kind of piece of clothing. This guy made it for me. I told him like a tattoo what I wanted. He did it. And it's personal, and the person gets to wear it. And somehow it's sort of a living, breathing testament to your art. As the collection grows and more people start wearing your jackets, I guess they become more valuable. So I keep churning them out. But I'm at the point now where, okay, if this is seriously going to be a business, there's some things that I've got that all businesses have. I've got overhead. I've got to pay my studio costs. I've got to get the material. Leather and denim jackets aren't exactly cheap, especially the leather. I've got all kinds of material costs that go into it, and then you just, building your websites, and that costs money. You get a web designer, and, you do shoots, and you got to pay for your photographer and the models, and all that, adds up. But I want to keep doing it. The only way to keep doing it is to, again, reach out to that network, that network that says, okay, here's my story, here's my work. If you support it and, get behind it, then, it grows. If no one gets behind it, I got to stop doing it and go back to doing a regular job, then it dies. It's as simple as that. You support the vision and you grow the vision. And that requires the tenacity of the artist to continue doing it, despite whatever odds are against him or her. The marketing difficulties of continuing to sell your work and not be a sellout, and be true to what you want to make and your vision. There's a lot of balancing in this act, and it's an interesting challenge. And Utopian Cow is about interesting challenges, I guess, at this point, and trying to make it as sustainable as possible, as any business can be, any artist can be. So, that's a story in a nutshell. There's more intricacies about it, but, I just come here and I paint, I make jackets, and people, either love them or hate them or ignore them or embrace them. It's really that kind of communication that says, I'm making something that I consider beautiful. If you consider it beautiful and you want it or you want a part of it, then support it. Support, my habit. It's a good habit. There's a lot of bad habits out there. This is a good one. I'm not addicted to anything except my artwork and making beautiful things for people to enjoy. That's it.